DNP 102.3 FM. This is your host, Tyler Snow, and I'm bringing you another edition of Saturday Night Live and Local. We are delighted to announce that we are joined in studio tonight by Will and the Collaborators. Will, how are you guys doing tonight?
Doing all right, bro.
Doing well. Thank you.
Good. Again, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. Why don't you guys just tell us a little bit about yourselves? Want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Who's first?
I guess Will is.
I'll be first. My name is Will Hondrick, local performing songwriter, I suppose. Boy, I don't know. Just to wrap it up in a few seconds, my whole life, I couldn't tell you. I play guitar and I sing and I try to play a little harmonica.
Good deal. We'll get to more on that as the show goes on. And who's playing bass for you tonight?
This is Lonnie Parrish here, one of the bassists of the Collaborators, and don't join you tonight.
Very good. Lonnie, I got to say, your upright bass that you brought in the studio with you, that is a beautiful instrument. We're very excited to, have an upright bass in the studio with us, and we also have some very interesting percussion as well. And Dan, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Daniel Stenz. I'm from Germany, living here in the beautiful town of New Philadelphia, Dover area. And I'm playing the drums for Will's band, the Collaborators. And I got my good box tonight with me, a modified guitar that's going to back up his songs that we're going to play tonight.
That's awesome. How long have you been making your own percussion?
For the last about year and a half, 2 years, just out of boredom. I like to build stuff too. So I built my own cajon and my own shakers out of Hunt's tomato soup cans or fish oil boxes. So works very well.
That is too
if
cool.
You're on a tight budget.
Very unique and very original. Nobody else has it. So how did you guys get started playing together?
Well, I'll tell you, I work with Dan, our day job, and it was, how long ago, Dan? Maybe 5, 6, 7 years
Something
ago.
like that, yeah.
I was talking to him. He said, back in Germany, I used to play in a band. A big band, had 9 people in it, had horns and all that sort of thing. He goes, "You want to play some music? Let's get together." And I was like, guy at work. Oh, okay, I guess. Yeah, sure, buddy. We'll get together sometime. Yeah. And then I played music with him, and I was like, man, this guy is good. I was pleasantly surprised, and I've been trying to get him to be all my beats from then on. I don't think I've played with any other drummer really too much, and time in between. We took a little break when your son was born, and
That's right. That's
you were being a good dad, and then I got you back.
Very cool. And Lonnie, how'd you end up playing with the band?
Will was creeping and found me, I guess.
Yeah, I stalked him.
Very good, very good. Well, Will, I know you've been performing in the area now for quite some time. How did you get your start in music?
Well, I started out, I was about 12 years old, and I started liking girls, and I wanted them to like me, so
That works.
I decided, well, my brother, he was playing bass. He picked up the bass, and we were living in North Carolina. I was a military brat. We were moving all over the place, and so we were in North Carolina at the time, and my brother was playing bass with some band. They were playing like Guns N' Roses covers and things like that. I just thought it was really cool, so I bought a guitar at a pawn shop, and then I started taking lessons. And then my brother quit playing bass, but I just stuck with it.
Really, very cool. And what was your biggest influences getting started?
Oh, this was the 80s. This was 86 when I started playing. So, Cinderella, all these hair bands, Poison. I thought they were cool back then.
Metal.
Matter of fact, I remember the moment I wanted to play guitar. I was watching the music video for Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone with Cinderella. And he was doing the solo, and it was just this one little thing. It was just like, just 3 notes, like over and over again. Like, that's not too hard. I can do that.
Yeah.
It seemed attainable. It's like, so at that moment, I decided that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a guitar. I'm going to learn how to play it.
Very cool. And Dan, what got you started?
My father played in a marching band in Germany, and I was like 5 or 6 years old. He took me along to the practice, and I was just fascinated by the drummer. And I was, I guess, picking up sticks and just kind of trying to play along. then I ended up playing on buckets and pots and pans at home at my parents' bakery, and from there on, they just sponsored me and bought me some lessons at a local music school, and from there on, for years I took lessons with different teachers and just developed from there.
Very cool. And what would you say your influences are as well?
Big one, Phil Collins for me. My drum teachers back then, different drummers, Marco Miniman or Simon Phillips. Those are pretty much big ones that influenced me on drumming.
Very cool. And Lonnie, how about yourself? When did you start playing music?
I started, I don't know, it was probably around 15 or so. And a couple of my other friends, we all started playing guitar, and then they spent a lot more time at it than I did, so I got kind of drafted to the bassist role, which I found, I don't know, I prefer that role anyways, but...
That makes two of us. All right, very cool. And what were your influences?
I've listened to all kinds of music, but back then it wasn't really a attainable goal, but I listened to a lot of Primus.
Oh,
and
there
I'm
you go.
sure that motivated a lot.
Claypool?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We were talking earlier, and Will and Dan had mentioned they were both formally trained. You said, however, you were not. You just learned how to play by ear.
Yeah, I took some guitar lessons at first, and then I decided to play bass, and I think I took 2 lessons from the guitar teacher, actually, who, 10 years later or more, I ended up playing in a band with him as a bassist.
Very cool. And as I had mentioned earlier, you're playing an upright bass too, which for those of you that are listening and don't know, an upright bass doesn't have any frets on it, so it's definitely a skill not many people can say they've accomplished.
It was definitely a learning curve, and it still is.
Very cool. So Will, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your first band?
The first band I had?
Yes.
Oh boy, that was I think that one was called the Mighty Wombats, and we were a punk band because all you needed was a couple of power chords and you could go nuts.
And a little bit of
And then-
anger.
Yeah, sure, we had plenty of that, And after that, I was in a band that was pretty much a Metallica, Megadeth cover band for a little while. I formed it, and then all the members decided to kick me out because I wanted to do original music, and they found a guy who could play Metallica and Megadeth, right? Just like the album. So
Really?
I was ousted.
No kidding, man.
After that, I just decided I wanted to keep doing original music. My style has changed quite a bit one year to the next. I drive these guys crazy because I go on one tangent. I'm flaky as hell. I mean, one month I want to be, classic country is all, outlaw country is all I want to do. Then all I want to do is the blues, and then I want to do some funk, But every time I go on one of these tangents, I get like 3 or 4 songs under my belt, so I can add to the set list and a little more eclectic sound.
Very cool. A lot of diversity, I can only imagine. When did you start playing out?
Probably right when I was of legal age to be in a bar.
Yeah.
2021, right around here.
So you started playing metal around that time then, or?
No, I had already. Kurt Cobain saved me from heavy metal.
Yeah, I do.
So that kind of changed for me. I got into the whole grunge thing, and then I discovered acoustic guitar, and Neil Young, my good buddy Kevin Walter, drop his name. He kind of introduced me to Neil Young and the acoustic guitar, and I really got into that for a while. It's still when I write my songs, I write them all on acoustic. It all starts from there.
Very cool. And do you remember what your first gig was, where it was?
The first gig I can remember was at Commons Pool in Bolivar.
Really?
And I remember I was really sweaty because it was after a football game. So I had to run over after the football game and then bang out some Teen Spirit and some some punk songs.
So were you hooked from that point on as far as performing out live goes?
Oh, yeah. Just always seemed like a cool thing to do,
Yeah, no kidding, man. And so, let's see, what was the first concert that you attended, at least that made a lasting impression on you?
I grew up around classic country. It's my family. My brothers were big Hank Williams Jr. fans. My parents, Alabama, all those guys. I was an Alabama concert. I remember they did it on Air Force Base, just out there on the landing strip. They had this big thing set up, and I was able to get real close to the stage, And for a band that I I was too cool to like the same music my parents liked at the time, But
Yeah.
I knew them, I'd seen them on TV and everything, and they were there big as life, and they sounded great, And that just kind of blew my mind, To be able to get that close to it was just. I'll always remember that.
I can only imagine. Dan, what about you? What was your first big show?
Big show I saw was Toto in Düsseldorf in Germany, because they had Simon Phillips on drums back then, and that gig, and it was just amazing. It just blew my mind what those guys were doing with their instruments. It was just a great experience all through, and it was not really a big venue, so that you could get really close and everything and see everything, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
It was great. Oh yeah.
Excellent. I've always found the smaller venues, it's a much more intimate experience.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And Lonnie, what about you? What was your first big show?
The first one was actually Ted Nugent, Deep Purple, and Leonard Skinner.
Wow.
And I don't know. I think after like the summer after 7th grade or something like that.
You had to be young.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you had cool parents too.
I definitely did. I was, I've always been into music, and they've been a big part of that. And that was with actually with my friend's dad. Actually, the two friends that played guitar and forced me into the bassist role. So that was actually kind of, one of the. I spent many hours playing the bass line to Freebird so they could solo over that, and
I can imagine.
and that was right around that same time, surprisingly.
There you go. Will, what's your most memorable performance that you've played?
Oh boy, I don't know. I think one of the coolest places I ever played was up in Cleveland at the House of Blues, and that really, it wasn't my gig. I was tagging along with my friend Zach Perillo. He was here a couple of weeks ago. He was singing for this band at the time called the Not So Good Old Boys.
Okay.
And I got to play some harmonica with them, and it was a fun gig to just do nothing but play harmonica. I might play mandolin on one or two songs, but mostly I just got to play harmonica all night, so I was just as happy as I could be
There you go.
to blow harp at the House of Blues.
Yeah, I can only imagine, man. Have you played outside of the state of Ohio?
Not that I can think of.
No.
I've always wanted to, but
Any upcoming shows? Anything in mind as far as what you might be doing for the future?
well, we've got a New Year's Eve gig. Are we allowed to plug that?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a local. I think it's a sponsor anyway. It's Factory Street. We're going to be there for New Year's Eve.
Yes. Factory Street is in
Right
fact
there
a
in
sponsor.
Dover.
Very cool. And again, that's on New Year's Eve.
Yes.
And what time does that start?
I believe we're playing 9 to midnight, or sounds about right. Yeah.
Awesome. So everyone that's listening, be sure to check out Will and the Collaborators. They're playing over at Factory Street Pub and Grill for New Year's Eve between 9 and 12, you said?
Sure. We might play a little bit later.
That's cool. Hey, as long as you guys can keep on going, I don't see anybody stopping you. So, in your travels, any funny, scary, weird stories? Anything particularly strange happen?
Travels as a musician.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Well, I haven't traveled much as a musician, but travels all over the country. I being an Air Force brat, we lived in Florida, we lived in Alaska. I saw stingrays and caught crab and seen grizzly bear, and
No kidding.
yeah,
Very cool.
they're very scary. You wouldn't think, but yeah, I feared for my life the minute I saw it.
I can imagine. A bear?
Yeah, it was we were out. Everybody rode ATVs, 4-wheelers, that sort of thing up in Alaska. Everybody's got one. Everybody rides them around. And I was out with some friends, and we were just standing there talking. We shut all our stuff down, and then it was just behind some brush, and it stood up, and that thing must have been like 10 feet tall.
Wow.
And it wasn't growling at us, didn't come at us or anything, but just seeing it
Mhm.
just freaked us out. We started up, and I was winding the gear, just getting as fast as I could.
No kidding, man. Well, hey, I want to get around to playing some music for the listeners. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the first track we're going to hear from you tonight?
This song is called I'll Let You Know, and this song I actually wrote about a friend. He was sitting in a bar. We were there together. I think we were actually playing a show. His name was Chris Miller. He played bass with me in a band we used to call the Will Rockwell Band. I used to I used to play under the name Will Rockwell, just because my real name, Hondrick, is so hard to pronounce and spell for people. I don't know. But anyway, I was a big fan of Norman Rockwell, so I told my friend, I said, I think I'm going to use the last name Rockwell. I said, Will Rockwell, what's that, your porn name? And I was like, well, now I have to use it. So used it for a little while. Anyway, this guy, Chris, great guy in every possible way. He was sitting at the bar with me, and this girl comes up, and pretty girl, and he's talking. He clearly knows this girl. He introduces me to her.
Okay.
She walks away, and I said, "Who's that?" He was like, "Oh, I'm so in love." And I was like, "Does she know that?" And he's like, "No, she has no idea. Don't tell her." So I wrote this song about anybody's ever had like a crush on somebody, or been stuck in friend status or whatever, and just never had the courage to actually express their feelings. Maybe they thought the moment had passed them. But it's called I'll Let You Know, because I'll let you know someday.
Excellent. Well, here is I'll Let You Know by Will and the Collaborators on DNP 102.3.
Yep. I put the pain in the back of my mind. You wanna know I'm doing just fine? Well, alright. Yeah, maybe that's a lie. I ain't been the same since you left my side. You're looking well since you've been away. I always knew you'd come back someday. And by the way, I still got something to say, but I'll just hold my breath till you walk away. Well, somehow in my head I had it all worked out. Some things I meant to tell you, but words got in the way. But I'll let you know someday. Somehow in my head I had it all worked out. Some things I meant to tell you, but words got in the way. But I'll let you know someday.
DNP 102.3. That was Will and the Collaborators with Will Let You Know, or I'll Let You Know, excuse me. We are joined here in the studio again by Will and the Collaborators. And guys, we are very grateful for you guys being here with us. We've got a lot of really fun stuff coming up, but I want to get into another song. What's the second song we're about to come up with now is I Don't Need You. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that song?
Well, these songs these first couple songs that I prepared for you here, I decided I was going to do this. I was going to do a solo album, and I got with Tom Vaughn, Studio Z, and he recorded these for me. That last one, actually, we had these big plans of I was going to sit down and play the song, and then we were going to play it all back, and then I was going to put in, just the guitar part, then just the vocal, then just the harmonica. And then we sat down, and that actually was the first take.
Really?
What we just listened to.
Too cool.
And we got done with it, and we thought, well, no more. That's it. We're just going to mess it up from here. So, at any rate, now we're at I Don't Need You. This is a song I wrote for an ex-girlfriend. She was just in the shower, and I was feeling sentimental, and I just was working with some finger picking, and I wrote this song in about 10 minutes, and it just kind of came to me. Sometimes they all come together like that. Sometimes you work on them for years and they never get right, and sometimes they just all come together.
Excellent. All right, well, this is I Don't Need You by Will Hondrick on DNP 102.3 FM.
Well, I got places to go. I've been making special plans. There's a certain situation been getting out of hand. Well, I ain't complaining, no, I just didn't see it coming. You got me walking instead of running away. Well, you know what I mean, and all I'm really trying to say is I don't need you, babe. Yeah, but I want you anyway. Say I don't need you to love me, and I don't need no advice, but I find myself thinking twice. 'Cause I can take a poke in the eye. I'm a man and I don't ever have to cry, but I crumble when you sigh that way. Well, you know what I mean, and Lord, all I'm really trying to say is I don't need you, babe. Yeah, but I want you anyway. Well, you know what I mean, and all I'm really trying to say is I don't need you, babe, but I still want you anyway.
DNP 102.3 FM. This is Tyler Snow, and this is Saturday Night Live and Local. We are joined here by Will and the Collaborators. We've got more coming up from them, but first we're going to pause for a couple of messages from our underwriters.
It's Tyler Snow and Saturday Night Live and Local from DNP 102.3.
And we're back here in the studio with Will and the Collaborators. We've been hearing, some basic questions about the band to get to know them a little bit better, and then also some solo songs of Will's. The next track coming up that we're going to play is called Crack Cocaine. That's got to have a pretty interesting story behind it.
This song is actually, it seemed like in a short period, within just a couple of years, I knew 3 people that died. Not necessarily by overdosing on crack or cocaine, but just the way the drugs affected their life. I lost my brother. He committed suicide. I had a friend, Jeff Snoffer, was an amazing fiddle player, and he just stretched himself too thin, died in a car accident. Another friend of ours, a good friend of my wife, he young man, just had a heart attack and died because of.
Wow.
Like I said, none of these people overdosed, but the story is just about how there are a lot of ways these things can affect our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of the times too, with a lot of addicts, they don't take care of themselves, which ultimately
Right.
leads to their demise. All right, so this next track is called Crack Cocaine, and this goes out to the three people Will just got done mentioning. It's DNP 102.3 FM.
My brother had a lover, she was more than he could take. He loved her, but his loving was in vain. Well, he gave her all he had, took all he could take. She blew it all on that crack cocaine. Once I knew a string man who could play a melody that could stir you to the bottom of your soul. But he passed out at the wheel on his way home from the show. What it could have been, the world will never know. I seen men turn to skin and bone, I seen their teeth turn black. I seen the tears of an early widow dry. I seen 3 good men, they ain't never coming back. I had 3 good friends, now have died.
Saturday Night Live and Local here at DNP 102.3. We are joined in studio by Will and the Collaborators, and you just heard Will Hondrick with Crack Cocaine. Will, who was playing mandolin in that track?
Actually was playing mandolin myself on that. Double that. That's another instrument that I like to play.
Very cool. All right.
Actually, the second person in that story is about Jeff Snoffer is the one who actually taught me the basics of how to play a mandolin.
Oh, wow, no kidding.
My grandpa he said he had a mandolin up in his attic and I could have it as long as I promised I would learn how to play it.
Wow.
And I said, all right. So 2 weeks later, he passes away. And so I go to get the thing, and this is like 120-year-old, like it was my great-grandfather's, like gourd style, and like the headstock had been in a fire and everything.
Wow.
And it just, and they had made their own little wooden tuning pegs to repair it, but it was this awesome thing, but it wasn't playable.
Yeah.
So I really upset my wife and went out and bought one anyway because I promised my grandfather that I would learn how to play the mandolin. And then, of course, I get the thing. I have no idea how to play it, but Jeff taught me just the mechanics of it. It's like it's a guitar, but it's backwards.
Right,
And
scales.
when you go laterally, you go in thirds instead of just a 1, 2, and then the next one on the next string is 1, 2, 3. Then the next note's on the next string.
Interesting.
So you had to learn your scales backwards.
Do you still have the original mandolin that your grandfather
Yeah,
offered you?
absolutely. It's a Line and Healy. It's I have no idea how much it's worth now, but it's worth more as an antique than an instrument.
Wow, very cool. All right. Well, again, we are joined here in the studio by Will and the Collaborators. If you yourself have any questions you'd like to ask Will or anyone from the band, log into Facebook and go to the Saturday Night Live and Local on DNP 102.3 Facebook page. The and is an ampersand there. And just send in a question, and we'll ask the question right on the air for you. We're going to play another song from Will, still another solo song here. The next one is going to be called Mistakes. Will, why don't you tell us a little bit about that song?
This one you're gonna see how Bob Dylan is a huge influence on me. This song is very old, before I was married and I was dating this girl, and I wrote her songs and tried to sweep her off her feet, but no matter what I did, she would not break up with her boyfriend. So
no kidding. What's your favorite era of Dylan? Because you kind of switched it up.
I like everything he's ever done. I mean, for different reasons and different times, but yeah.
No kidding. Very cool. All right. Well, this is Mistakes from Will Hondrick on DNP 102.3 FM.
I know trouble's coming at you from every direction. You're caught up in a green light jamming up the intersection. Well, you're caught up in a tidal wave of who's, where's, and why's. Everybody's got opinions, and they're giving you advice. Well, I have no sage-like wisdom to offer or lend, but a path for you to choose is coming round the bend. Now you've gone and done some things that you should not have done. Well, you had too many drinks and you had a little fun. Well, you let down your defenses and you made a few mistakes. You were jamming on the gas when you should have hit the brakes. But I guess I carried the burden of the blame. I was throwing gasoline on an open burning flame. Well, I'm just laying it on the table. I'm just showing you my hand. I'm just saying if you're able, well, this is where I stand. And if you think I'm wonderful and you want me for your own, you don't have to wait and worry. You don't have to be alone. But I know that you don't need me, and you made some other plans. Well, these are just some things that I thought you would understand.
DNP 102.3 FM. This is Saturday Night Live and Local, and that was Will Hondrick with Mistakes. We are joined here in the studio by Will and the Collaborators, who have an upcoming performance at our friends at Factory Street Pub and Grill on New Year's Eve. They're going to be playing from 9 to 12, so be sure to go check them out. We're going to have some live performances from them coming up, too, as we get a little later on into the show. But we got so much great material here, and I understand that the last 4 songs that we just played were primarily all solo and acoustic, and from what I understand, it's going to change it up a little bit now.
Yeah, I'm just going to indulge just one more acoustic song.
Okay.
After that, and by the way, when we play at Factory Street for New Year's Eve, we're not going to play acoustic depressing music that I've been playing so far this evening. We're going to have a little fun. But at any rate, this song...
was the earlier stages of life, I guess.
Yes.
So now that
yes.
Alonzo's playing with you and I'm playing with you, we upbeat you.
They taught me to have fun.
There you go.
There you go.
All
right. So coming up next, we've got Till My Dying Day. Tell us a little bit about that song.
All right. This song is a very sentimental song. I wrote this song about my wife when she was pregnant with our daughter, Sylvie. And I guess that's all the explanation it needs when you hear it.
All right, great. This is Till My Dying Day by Will Hondrick on DNP 102.3 FM.
I know growing in your belly is a little baby girl. She'll be the apple of my eye. She's gonna change the world. Well, I know she keeps you up, and I know she makes you tired. I just wanted you to know that you are avidly admired by me. I just wanted you to know that you are avidly admired by me. And I'm gonna love you till my dying day. I'm gonna stand right by your side, night ever gone away. I'm gonna love you till your dying day. Well, I know my lack of money is getting you upset, 'cause you want that baby girl to have the best she can get. Well, I'm working overtime and I'm taking out a loan. I just wanted you to know I'm glad you're making a home for me. I just wanted you to know I'm glad you're making a home for me. 'Cause I'm gonna love you till my dying day. I'm gonna stand right by your side and I ain't ever gone away. I'm gonna love you till your dying day. But I know growing in your belly is a little baby girl. She'll be the apple of my eye. She's gonna change the world.
It's Saturday Night Live on DNP 102.3 FM, and we are joined here by Will, Dan, and Lonnie of Will and the Collaborators. We just heard from Will's solo acoustic material that was Till My Dying Day. But from what I understand, the next song we're going to be playing is going to be a little bit different. But before we get to that, we've got our first question off of the Saturday Night Live and Local Facebook page. Somebody by the name of Riley Hondrick, who I'm guessing, judging by the last name, is someone you probably know.
Yes, that's my nephew.
All right, very cool. Well, Riley wants to know, he said, actually, I'll just go ahead and read what he said. He said, "Hey, Will, it's your favorite nephew and brother. What's the backstory to I'm the One?"
That song, that's a song I wrote. See, my dad and my grandpa both bought guitars, and both at one point in their life bought acoustic guitars.
Okay.
And wanted to learn how to play. And both of them subsequently gave it up. So my grandpa had started and just, he had these big, thick hands, my grandpa. You know, he worked in a Reeves steel mill. He didn't wear gloves. He just,
Okay.
He was like, he had these big, thick, calloused hands like a gorilla.
More suited for the bass than the guitar, then?
Yeah. Right. And he was a farmer. He worked all day in the steel mill, and he worked his farm too. So that's one thing I always remember. My grandpa is just such a hardworking guy.
Very admirable.
Definition of integrity to me. And then, but he actually sang in his church. He loved to sing.
Okay, very cool.
And of course, his father played the mandolin, so there was music in the family.
Okay.
But he just never stuck with the guitar. And then my dad, at some point in his life, he decided he wanted to play guitar, and he bought this guitar from like a Sears Roebuck catalog, and he tried it out, another acoustic, and eventually he just didn't find the time for it, and it ended up collecting dust just like Grandpa's. So. I wrote this song when I was probably maybe 18, 19 years old. And not at that point I was long-haired and rebellious, and probably not, something that either of them, were particularly proud of at that moment. So I wrote this song about how, I might not be a lot of things. I might not be rich. I might not, do well, but I'm the one who stuck to it, and I'm the one who plays.
Too cool, too cool. Well, talking about guitar, the next song we're going to be playing, I love the title, Loose Woman Blues. Tell us a little bit about that one.
I would like to say, just first of all, by the way, to get back to my dying day, that was for my beautiful wife, Deborah Hondrick. I love you. I didn't get to say that. I should have. Now, this song is about a completely other woman, not her at all, someone that I don't love. So this song is called Loose Woman Blues, and if anybody has ever, given their heart to a loose woman, they've got the blues eventually. That's the way it works. But this song is a complete departure from what you've heard before. These I actually recorded in my barn, and I was talking to you about Barnaroo, how we used to, the barn is magical. I mean, when you record in there, when you play in there, just the way it sounds, I love that building.
I could imagine the live performances sounded great. Dan, you've got something.
Dan, he's got his hand raised.
Well, to all the listeners who want to play guitar, apparently you're going to hear Will talking about the reason why he started to play guitar was about women. No, I think like 4 or 5 times in a row.
All the songs are about
apparently it works out well for you. Or back in the day at least. Sorry, Deborah. So everyone who wants to learn play guitar, I mean, give Will a shout out. I mean, it worked for him. It might work for you guys too.
My goodness.
We'll talk more about Barnaroo coming up, because that was truly something amazing that was going on here in the area. There's never been anything quite like it. But first, this is Loose Woman Blues by Will and the Collaborators on DNP.
Actually, this was the Will Rockwell Band
Okay,
at
this
the
is
time.
the Will Rockwell Band.
Dan Jones was playing bass with me, and Ryan Bear was playing drums for this recording.
Excellent. Okay, very good. And here it is, Loose Woman Blues on DNP 102.3.
Loose woman.
Loose Woman Blues by the Will Rockwell Band on Saturday Night Live and Local right here at DNP 102.3 FM. And, Will, you obviously, before the first 5 songs we heard from you were acoustic, and that was blues, and it was some killer blues. What got you into playing the blues initially?
Well, I'll tell you, when I first started taking the lessons, they had me learning green sleeves and orally and all these things out of that little book that everybody I don't know the name of the book, but it was like the standard book that everybody learned from. And I was getting really frustrated. I was thinking, that Cinderella solo seems so far away.
Yeah.
I want to rock here, and you're teaching me green sleeves. So I was ready to quit. And I tell my teacher this, I'm frustrated. I just want to give up. And he goes, hold on now. And he says, I'm going to play just a blues rhythm. And I'm going to give you something fun. I'm going to show you, just play these notes. And he showed me just the first box, blues,
Okay.
minor pentatonic. He said, you can play any of those notes you want, play them how you feel them, as I'm playing this rhythm, and just have fun with it. So he starts playing the rhythm. I start tinkering around with this scale he just showed me. And when I get done, he looks at me and he goes, that's the best anybody's ever done. And I thought, wow, I am talented.
Yeah.
It took me 15 years to realize. One day I just woke up and I realized he just wanted to get more lessons. For 15 years I thought I'm this gift. I was born to play the blues,
Yeah.
and I kept playing the guitar, but he just wanted to keep the lesson money coming in. I'm pretty sure that's what really happened, but
Hey, that'll give you a reason to write a blues song
but
too.
but
man.
for that reason, I was addicted to the blues after that first session.
That's cool. So did you keep on playing the blues after that, or?
Yeah, the blues have always been in the background of everything I do. That's where I started from. Like I said, the first time I really felt like I was doing something that was mine, that was something that meant something to me, that's something that somebody told me I was good at.
Yeah.
Was the blues, and it's just always been. If you look at rock and roll, I mean, look at the Rolling Stones.
Oh, blues.
They were just trying to imitate these blues guys that
Yeah.
were actually being ignored here in our country. I mean,
Yeah.
when they first came into to Chess Records, I mean, Muddy Waters is painting the ceiling. He's doing extra work just to earn his keep.
Yeah, unbelievable, isn't it?
It's crazy.
It really is. The next track we're going to play from you is called Whiskey Smoke. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that one?
That one's just a straight blues song, and it's just basically how we all have our ways to escape.
Yeah.
That's it.
Excellent. All right. Well, the next song we're going to be hearing from Will, this is the Will Rockwell band, is Whiskey Smoke, right here on Saturday Night Live and Local on DNP 102.3 FM.
Whiskey, deliver me
That was Will Rockwell Band with Whiskey Smoke on Saturday Night Live and Local right here on DNP 102.3 FM. We are joined here in the studio with Will, Dan, and Lonnie of Will and the Collaborators, and we have plenty of great stuff coming up from them. But first, we're going to take a break for some station identification. It's Saturday Night Live and Local on DNP 102.3. Same Old News by Will Rockwell right here on DNP 102.3 FM. We are joined here in studio by Will and the Collaborators for another edition of Saturday Night Live and Local. And it's very hard to believe that an hour has gone by already. Been having a lot of fun in the studio with you guys.
You know what? I just got a text from my good buddy Zach Perillo.
What's Zach have to say?
Well, he's telling me I did play out of state, and because he was there and I was there with the same band that I was talking to you about. Yeah, we went to Chicago. I forgot all about Chicago.
The home of blues.
Yeah, it was great. We had a good time.
No kidding. Where'd you guys play?
I remember they had a cobra as their logo, but I can't remember the name of the place. Hey Zach, text me the name of that place for you, man. Could you?
Zach Perillo, of course, was on the show with us on the last edition of Saturday Night Live and Local. The song that we just heard from there was Same Old News. Why don't you give us a little bit of a backstory on that one?
That one is a song that I wrote. You know, often you can say, I'm going to write a song. I'm going to sit down. I got time today. I'm going to spend my morning writing a song. Nothing will come to you. When they come to you is when you're driving down the road or when you're working. So I was actually, my brother Todd, I was working for him. I was steam cleaning carpet. And machines running. All of a sudden, he's doing. Where the hell is my brother? Where's he at? I'm out in the car on the back of an invoice writing these lyrics down because they just came to me as I was steam cleaning carpet.
Too cool.
But that's how Same Old News came around. It was just because as I was steam cleaning carpet working, I was thinking, boy, I feel like I'm never gonna get ahead.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel like I'm gonna die before I pay my dues.
Well, we're sure glad that you took the time to go out there and write those lyrics down.
Oh, Zach just told me Cobra Lounge.
Cobra Lounge.
The Cobra Lounge,
No
absolutely. And actually, the next track you were getting ready to play, Mr. Zach Prillo, I believe that is Change of Scenery, yes. And Zach plays an amazing guitar solo on here. So
Very cool.
It's a great example of his work.
Very cool. Well, here it is. It's Change of Scenery.
And this is with the Flat Roots.
With the Flat Roots.
The next 3 songs are with the Flat Roots.
Okay. All right. Change of Scenery by the Flat Roots right here on DNP 102.3 FM. It's Saturday Night Live and local.
It's all the same, just getting older. Gotta get myself out of this town. Got this duffel bag upon my shoulder. Yes, I'll be seeing you around. anyone will miss me. No one will even notice that I'm gone. I can't stand the grass to grow beneath me. Telling me it's time that I moved on. Set me up and burn me down, and take me miles from this town. I'm sick of everything I see. I just need a change of scenery.
That was the Flatliners right here on DNP 102.3 FM.
Flat Roots, dude.
Flat Roots.
We didn't die.
Man, I keep messing that up. Jeez.
It's all right.
Keep that up. He's got a flat line.
I guess so.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, okay.
All right. So
Starting over anyway.
that was change of scenery, and as I was telling you on the break, I'm playing these in the order that they were recorded, but not necessarily the order that they were written.
Right.
Change of scenery. That song that we just listened to I wrote that when I was like 18 years old. I wrote that in like 1993.
Wow.
And just kept around for years and years, and finally recorded it with Ryan Bear. He talked to me. We met in Rosalind's Music,
Oh, no kidding.
and I had played with him before with the World Rockwell band, the other stuff that we listened to, and he said he had some recording equipment, and he wanted to start doing some recording. And so I came over there, and I was talking to Zach. I was like, "Yeah, let's do this together." So we ended up doing. We were just going to do a recording, and then we liked it so well, we decided let's make a band out of it. Let's play some shows,
That's awesome.
and that's how that's how the whole Flat Roots thing got started. But
Okay.
anyway, so that was Change Scenery. The next one is Colorado Sky.
Okay.
Now this one, I have my friend Kevin Walter that I was telling you. He lives in Colorado now.
Okay.
But we went to high school together, and he's the one who really got me into acoustic guitar to begin with. And he and I, he's a songwriter too, singer-songwriter. So we're always like, throwing songs back and forth at each other. We played little shows where like he'll do one he wrote, I'd do one back and forth, and we've just always had that kind of camaraderie and kind of competitiveness between each other as far as songwriting goes. So one day he said, "I'm going to write a song about you." I said, "All right." And I said, "I'm going to write a song about you."
Okay.
So I wrote the song called Colorado Sky, and it's about my friend Kevin, but I kind of cloaked it, made it sound like a love song. Not that I'm in love with my friend Kevin, but I wanted it to be a song that anybody could identify with, not just Kevin. But now, if people really know Kevin Walter, if they listen to the lyrics in every verse, in the first two verses, about every other line is a title from one of the songs that he's written in the past.
Oh, okay. Very
And
cool.
in the third verse, I'm dropping names of our mutual friends.
Okay. Very neat.
So this one's called Colorado Sky.
All right. Coming up next, Colorado Sky by the Flat Roots on DNP 102.3 Saturday Night Live and Local. This is Tyler Snow, your host of Saturday Night Live and Local. Apologies, that was I Know. That is actually the song we're going to get to next, but coming up the song we're going to play next is called Colorado Sky, right here on DNP 102.3. Colorado Sky by the Flat Roots on Saturday Night Live and Local, DNP 102.3 FM. Just a reminder to everybody that's listening, if you have any questions for Will, Dan, or Lonnie, log on to Facebook and go to the Saturday Night Live and Local page, and feel free to ask any question that you may have. The next song we're going to get into here, which is actually the last song that we're going to hear from Will before we get to some live performances, is called I Know. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that one?
This is a song I wrote years ago. This right here is a recording I did with Ryan Bear when we did the original Flat Roots album. Zach actually played some keyboards on this, which I really dig the way he put the keyboards on this one. But
cool.
This is a song that I wrote. It was just I was in a time in my life where I was very depressed, and I was drinking a little whiskey. And I actually fell asleep on my couch with a guitar in my lap and a notebook with all these lyrics written and some chord shapes written above. I woke up, still a little froggy and foggy, and look at the pages, and I went through. I don't even really remember really writing the song. It's a little foggy. I remember writing bits of it, but I woke up and I played it, and then first person I actually played it for, I believe, was my wife, Deborah. We weren't dating at the time. I was in friend status, at that point.
Good.
But years later, she told me that was the first song that I ever wrote that she really thought was something,
Very cool. Well, coming up next, I Know, the product of drunken amnesia.
There you
on
go.
DNP 102.3 FM.
Well played, sir.
Well, my ship is full of hope. I'm taking water by the bucket full. I should have patched it long ago. Yeah, my roof don't stop the rain. I can feel it coming down again. I only got myself to blame. Yeah, I know things are bound to change. Yeah, I know. Well, my door don't block the wind. Like a fool I kicked it in. At least that's a fight that I can win. Yeah, my dog ain't got no bite, but he can bark all night. You stand your ground, he'll just tuck his tail and hide. Yeah, I know things are bound to change. Yeah, I know, but it doesn't stop. Yeah, I know things are bound to change. Yeah, I know, but it doesn't stop the pain. All my crops have turned to dust, and all my tools have turned to rust. This kind of luck I've come to trust. Now before I break a string, I just wanna say one thing, but I've forgotten how to sing. doesn't stop. Yeah, no, things are bound to change. Yeah, no, but it doesn't stop the pain.
That was I Know by the Flat Roots on Saturday Night Live and Local, right here on DNP 102.3 FM. Again, we are joined in studio by Will and the Collaborators, and I'm actually really excited to say, if you have been listening to the show, you've noticed that there have not been any cover songs the entire show. Everything we've heard tonight has been original material, and I'm also very excited to announce that after we get back from the break, we're actually going to go live, and we've got some pretty cool equipment in here.
Yeah.
Got a nice, beautiful upright bass Lonnie's got over there. We have some very unique percussion over there. Why don't you tell us a bit more about that percussion, Dan?
Well, Will showed me a YouTube video from a band called the Wood Brothers, and they were pretty much upright bass guitar, and the guy had a guitar hanging upright on his neck, and he was showing me the video at first, and I was not really interested. And a couple of weeks later, I asked him again about the band, and I looked at the video again, and I said, that's pretty cool, because I did build a cajon, or Cajun, some people call it, and I was like, this guitar has much more, used to be guitar, has much more stuff on it, percussion-wise. It has your bass on it, your snare on the side, and then actually a couple of bells that you can, roll your fingers over. And he actually gave me an old acoustic guitar that
was given to me by my friend. My friend Ray Wampler gave me this guitar.
Yeah.
I don't know if he knows that I gave it to you to, drill holes and
take it
screw
apart.
all kinds of attachments to. And actually, after I gave it to you, I realized that it's a K guitar. It's actually a decent guitar.
So now it's actually more worth
it's kind of a nice guitar
that I modified it.
That you completely destroyed.
Well, it's a very cool instrument. We'll be posting some pictures. Actually, I believe we've got some pictures up already on the Saturday Night Live and Local DMP 102.3 Facebook page. You can go check those out right now. And also, if you have any questions for the band, feel free to ask away. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to start off a live performance right here in studio at DNP 102.3 FM.
It's Tyler Snow and Saturday Night Live and Local from DNP 102.3.
Saturday Night Live and Local right here at DNP 102.3 FM. We are joined in studio by Will and the Collaborators, and we are getting ready to have our first live performance from them on the air. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the first song you're going to play for us?
The first song is called I Do, and it's actually, this is a song that the first verse I had written in my mind and never put it on the page for years. It seemed like every time I was driving down the road, I would think about this, but driving down the road is not a good time to write something down. So finally one day I rushed into the house while it was still fresh in my mind, completely ignored my family, and I found a notebook and scrawled down the first verse. But the song's called I Do, and it's about trying to be a good father and husband, and also trying to be a successful musician. It's hard to do both,
Can only imagine.
Because you're splitting your attention, and both things mean so much to you. So anyway, this song's called I Do. That's what it's about.
Here it is, Will and the Collaborators with I Do, live on the air for Saturday Night Live and Local, DNP 102.3.
Hoping I would change. I I was hoping you would stay the same. I didn't, and you did. We broke the rules that we started out with, but don't you ever wonder why? 'Cause I know I know I do. You were hoping I would take up the post. You were hoping I would give up the ghost. I can't and you won't. You say you do and I know you don't. Don't you even wanna try? 'Cause I know I know I do. Now I'm working retail, selling my soul. These kids are getting sadder now. I'm just getting old, getting old. You were hoping I would change. I was hoping you would stay the same.
That was I Do by Will and the Collaborators live in the DNP 102.3 FM studios. Guys, that was absolutely killer. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I would ask you guys some more questions, but honestly, if you guys are game, let's get back into some more music.
Sure, that sounds good.
Great.
Let me, strap on my harmonica here.
Awesome.
I take the headset off.
Again, guys, if you have any questions for the band, feel free to check out the DNP 102.3 Saturday Night Live and Local Facebook page. We have some pictures being taken as well and some live video as well. Or not live video, but we'll have some video footage on there. And Dan, I believe you had something you wanted to say real quick?
Well, Will had his strap on his harmonica and had take headsets off. When you play multiple instruments or you try to do more as one person, it's always kind of hard. You have to carry more stuff, and it's always more challenging as a musician.
And that's just fine. We have no problem.
Basically, he teases me because every time we have a gig, everybody's packed up and ready to go, and I'm still wrapping things up and
Yes, that's true.
putting things
That's
in
true.
cases because I bring way too many toys.
It's the multi-talented Will Hondrick from Will and the Collaborators. What's the next song we're going to be hearing?
This next song is called Take a Bullet, and I wrote this song. I discovered this guy, Jason Isbell, and I just went on a tear and started writing all these songs after I listened to him. If you guys want to Google him, Jason Isbell, he's awesome. He's the one who kind of, what turned it on for me was the idea that I could write a song that didn't have to be about me and my personal experience. It could be about somebody else, and I could still sing it in the first person. But, I was writing so many of my songs about, basically it taught me to write fiction.
Right.
Because I was writing all these songs, and I felt like, if it was from the heart, it had to be my life story. But after listening to him and what he was doing, I realized, I've got all these ideas and everything that I can actually put them down, and I can sing it in that personal way, which is first person, to say I, but it doesn't necessarily have to be my story.
Very
it
cool.
can be someone else's.
It's kind of opened up a whole new world opportunity to you. Very cool. Well, here it is, Now and Then, on DNP 102.3 FM.
Oh. Well, let me change my capo, because I wasn't... we were going to do Take a Bullet.
Oh, Take a Bullet. I'm sorry about that. All right.
That's a different song.
Keep the capo.
That's all right.
All right. Take the Bullet from Will and the Collaborators, live on the air, DNP 102.3.
When it feels like I'm on the firing line for my personality, would you be my human shield when they open fire on me? If I was standing there in the crosshairs, would you hear my plea? If I had a blindfold and a cigarette, would you take a bullet for me? Take a bullet for me. Take a bullet for me. If I was staring down the barrel, would you stand between him and me? Would you sacrifice yourself? Would you care that much for me? If I was under the gun, would you be the one to take a bullet for me? Well, just like in the movies, in them slow motion scenes, when you hear the shots ring out, would you jump across the screen? Well, I'm calling out your name, you're falling on my knees. If I got caught up in the game, would you take a bullet for me? Take a bullet for me. Take a bullet for me. If I was staring down a barrel, would you stand between him and me? Would you sacrifice yourself? Could you care that much for me? If I was under the gun, would you be the one to take a bullet for me? Take a bullet for me. Take a bullet for me. If I was staring down the barrel, would you stand between him and me? Would you sacrifice yourself? Could you care that much for me? Yeah, if I was under the gun, would you be the one to take a bullet for me? Well, when it feels like I'm on the firing line for my personality, would you be my human shield when they open fire on me? If I was standing there in the crosshair, would you be my plea? If I had a blindfold and a cigarette, would you take a bullet for me? Take a bullet for me.
Take a Bullet by Will and the Collaborators. We are very privileged to have them live and on the air with us right now, right here at the DMP 102.3 studio. What's the next song you guys have planned for us here?
That's a fine question.
Well, it's
Deserving of an answer.
Oh.
The next song is called "The Other Man." Now, this is where I was telling you, when I was encouraged to start writing songs that were really other people's stories. I was talking to a coworker, and she was talking about how she had some friends that they got married, but they're getting divorced.
Mhm.
But it didn't surprise her one bit because they were both married to other people when they got together.
Really?
So I started thinking about that, about how, well, they probably both should have known better, but, it's things happen, what are you
Yeah.
going to do? Some people do that and live a happy life forever. But, maybe somebody who was a little savvy in that situation might have recognized that it is what it is, recognize it for what it was for. And in this case, the song is called "The Other Man," and the other man understands exactly where he really stands, and he doesn't really want to make a change.
All right. Here it is, The Other Man by Will and the Collaborators, right here on DNP 102.3 FM.
Ready? Been knocking on your back door for some time now. Every time you give me the call that your old man ain't around. Now you say you wanna make a change, put me in his place. Well, it might seem strange, but for me that's not the case. I've been the other man enough to know better than to be the man. I've been the other man enough to know better, better, better. Might be the most beautiful girl that I ever had, but I don't wanna meet your mama and I don't wanna know your dad. She ain't afraid to please yourself and you ain't afraid to sin. So what makes you think you won't do me just like you done him? I've been the other man enough to know better than to be the man. I've been the other man enough to know better, better, better. Mama, don't you worry, baby, don't you cry. I don't wanna see a single tear drop from your eye. See, the way it was is just the way it is today. One man goes to work and the other man comes to play. I've been the other man enough to know better than to be the man. I've been the other man enough to know better. I've been the other man enough to know better than to be the man. I've been the other man enough to know better, better, better.
Thank you.
That was The Other Man by Will and the Collaborators, right here on Saturday Night Live and local on DNP 102.3 FM. Guys, again, we are very privileged to have you in the studio. Thank you again so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having us over here.
This is awesome, guys. Absolutely. We have you guys live on the air right now, and actually, I taking a look at the Saturday Night Live and Local Facebook page. I have to ask: are you guys open to taking requests?
Well, sure. If we know it, why not?
All right. Eric wants to know if you can play "Little Schoolgirl."
Oh my God. That would be Riley.
Yeah, Riley was asking, but on behalf of Eric.
Eric is my brother who passed, and that was his favorite
Okay.
song.
Okay.
And damn him for getting so sentimental on me. Am I allowed to say that on the air? Sorry
Yes.
about that.
Yep.
Darn him, darn these kids. But
I'm game.
are you down for that, Lonnie?
I think so.
It's kind of left curve, but what are you gonna do?
What letter was that in?
That is in the letter D.
Okay, yeah.
All right. It's our first request right here on DNP 102.3 FM, Saturday Night Live and Local with Will and the Collaborators. It's Little Schoolgirl.
Well, good morning, little schoolgirl. Yeah, I'll come home to you. Well, we'll tell your mom and your pop that I'm a little schoolboy too. Well, I can't stand it, baby. You know I just can't help myself. Well, you're so young and pretty that I don't need nobody else. Good morning, little schoolgirl. Yeah, I'll come home with you. Well, I'm gonna leave you, baby, just about the break of day, on account of the way you treat me. Lord, I got to stay away. But baby, I love you. Well, I just can't help myself. Well, you're so good looking, baby, that I don't need nobody else. So good morning, little schoolgirl. Yeah, I'll come home with you. I'll come home. I'm gonna buy me an aeroplane to fly all over your town and tell everybody, baby, Lord knows it's been putting me down. But good morning, little schoolgirl, can I go home to you? Well, we'll tell your mom and your pop that I'm a little schoolboy too. I can't stand it, baby, you know I just can't help myself. Just can't help myself.
Live and in the studios with us for Saturday Night Live and Local, it's Will and the Collaborators with Little School Girl. Actually, off the request line. All right, guys. Well,
You know, the older I get, the creepier it is for me to sing that song. When I was 18, it was just a good song, but now it's a little creepy.
that's why we got to ask the story behind it, you know. All right. Well, I know you have another song planned for us. What's the next song you have in mind?
This song, actually, I wrote this song a long time ago about escaping Tuscarawas County. I called it Mississippi Hippie for a long time, actually, just until recently. But then I heard about, like 5 or 6 country songs that said Mississippi Hippie, and I thought, well, it's not quite as original as it was when I wrote it first in like 1995, 96. So, anyway, I just started calling it T County. It was already about T County. It was about escaping T County. Here I am. I never did leave. But it was I wrote this song about Plan B. I always felt like if things got too crazy, I would just leave. And I had a friend of mine, Tennille from high school, and I just talked to her at one point. She's like, well, I'm down there. If you ever want to come out there, we'll find a place for you to camp or whatever. But you can, we'll make sure you get taken care of. So I thought in the back of my mind, anything ever got too crazy, I could always escape to New Orleans.
There you go. Well, I'm excited to say it. It's T County. I got to hear a little bit of it in the sound check earlier by Will and the Collaborators right here on DNP 102.3 FM.
Harmonica. Well, goodbye trouble, eat my dust. I got the pedal down, headed anywhere or bust. Down to the wire, asphalt on my tire. That's the only thing I trust. See you, lady love, you done let me down. I'm taking my truck and I'm headed out of town. Say I'll be back, yeah, you don't know jail. Lord, I'm Mississippi bound. And I'd sleep inside a tent outside of New Orleans before I'd ever come home to you. Yeah, I camp on a bank of the Mississippi River. Leave you them T County blues. Well, goodbye pain, so long misery. But fare thee well, for you are history. You take that high road, I'm gonna take the low road. It don't matter much to me, 'cause I'm headed down this interstate. I'm headed south and I anticipate to be watching that sunrise over the new sky by the dawning of the day. And I'd sleep inside a tent outside of New Orleans before I'd ever come home with you. Yeah, I camp on the banks of the mighty Mississippi River. And I leave you them T County blues.
line. She suits me fine. That old horizon is still a friend of mine. Well, getting on the highway, hell, that's just my way of saying goodbye. 'Cause I'm a trucking down this old road, but this time I left behind my load. Well, you might miss me, son, but I won't miss you none when I make my happy home. Then I'd sleep inside a tent outside of New Orleans before I'd ever come home with you. Yeah, I camp on the banks of the mighty Mississippi River, and I leave you them T County blues. Yeah, I leave T County up to you. I'm gonna leave them T County blues.
Another great track from Will and the Collaborators right here on Saturday Night Live and Local on DNP 102.3 FM. Guys, it's an awesome song. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Oh, thank you.
I do want to say, though, if you have the time and some more material for us, we're going to take a quick break.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, more from Will and the Collaborators coming up right after this. Welcome back to Saturday Night Live and Local. We're extending into the 11 o'clock hour. Happy to say so. We've got some more material coming up from Will and the Collaborators. And I highly encourage everyone to go to Factory Street Pub and Grill for the New Year's Eve party. Actually, Will and the Collaborators will be there, and they will be performing from 9 to midnight. So go out to Factory Street Pub and Grill and usher in the new year with Will and the Collaborators. We've got some more material coming up from them. What's the next song you're going to play for us?
This song is called Mr. Jones, and I wrote this just about, people have an idea about musicians, and they don't want to take you seriously. They assume a lot of stereotypes, most of which are true, but still, stereotypes still offend people, even if they're true. So this song is called Mr. Jones. It's talking about just keeping up with the Joneses, trying to be normal and trying to be weird at the same time.
It's a tough thing to balance. Here it is, Mr. Jones by Will and the Collaborators on DNP 102.3.
Empty hands, trying hard to hold me down. And it's hard to believe everything been coming round. They try to tell my girl, they say, girl, leave that boy alone. Well, they say he here today, but tomorrow he'll be gone. Well, they say I got a reputation in this town. Well, they don't even know who the hell I am. Well, everybody come here just to tear me down. And now I had about all that I can stand. Keeping up with Mr. Jones. Keeping up with Mr. Jones. are gonna kill me, but I don't believe all that. Well, you take a look around, and it really ain't so bad. And it don't matter now if I smoke and drink all day. Lord only knows what's gonna be the death of me. Well, they say I got a reputation in this town. Well, they don't even know who the hell I am. Well, everybody just come here to tear me down. And I have about all that I can stand. Keeping up with Mr. Jones.
Saturday Night Live and Local coming back with the encore from Will and the Collaborators. That was Mr. Jones. Guys, I want to thank you all individually. Lonnie, Will, of course, Dan, thank you guys so much for being here with us tonight and taking the time out of your...
Thanks for having us here.
It's
Yes.
a pleasure, truly. And thank you to all the listeners as well. I do believe that's almost going to wrap up the show. Do you guys have any closing thoughts? Anyone you want to thank?
I'm just I'm grateful to everything and everyone, I suppose, right now.
All right. Well, it's been a great show, an incredible live performance on the air. Saturday Night Live and Local, we just continue to showcase all the fantastic local talent we have in the area. And there's no real defining style of music coming out of the area. I couldn't even begin to try to define the kind of music you guys put on. Definitely some blues influence, but it's so cool because it's its own unique thing. And then next Saturday, we will not have anybody in the studio with us. We'll be taking a break for the holidays. And then coming back on January 2nd, we will have Last Day's Pay on the show with us. Very excited about that. And again, Will and the Collaborators, you guys are going to be at Factory Street Pub and Grill, right, on New Year's Eve?
Yes, sir.
From 9 to 12, they'll be performing. So everybody go out there and usher in the new year with them. And
It's up to you guys. You can think of one. I mean, look at the list. I'm sure there's something we can do to fade out here. Oh, yeah, let's do that one. This song is called Electric Cigarette.
All right. And why? What's the story behind this one?
Well, I kind of wrote this song about feeling old and behind the times, and I just saw somebody smoking an electric cigarette like it was a real cigarette and with such attitude, and I thought, I don't get that, so if I don't get that, I must be behind it. So anyway, this song is called Electric Cigarette.
All right. Closing out the Saturday Night Live and Local show. It's Electric Cigarette with Will and the Collaborators. Thanks again to everybody for listening, and thank you again to Will and the Collaborators for being here with us. Here they are right now.
Well, I stand up and turn around, intoxicated by the sound of ugly faces saying stupid things. And I'll tell you something else, I just gotta say myself, that if I had a hand grenade, well, I'd take it to your hit parade. Yeah, yeah, yeah. While she takes another drag. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of her electric cigarette. Radio, the way of the dodo. You ask me like I should know, and I tell you right where to go. Well, there never is a place or time. Are you a friend of mine? Talk behind the back, you stab them, tell me that you're feeling bad. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow, she's yeah, yeah, yeah. Of her electric cigarette. You say it's not my fault, then you cover me with salt. Push everybody that I have, then you try to make me laugh. Well, it's the same as it was. Stupid is as stupid does. You say that word one more time and I'll bust you where you bust your line. Yeah, yeah, yeah. While she takes another drag. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of her electric cigarette.
All right.
Thank you.